The average person thinks finance is so complex because, frankly, the industry tries to make it sound complex. They use words that you don't know, so you don't know what to do. What happens is we just give them our money and say, deal with it. You gotta know that you can't wait till you have a ton of money to start investing. If you can invest in business, even a small amount, you can grow. And I don't care how small it is, but you gotta automate it. You gotta take a percentage of what you earn and pretend it's a tax. You're never gonna see that money again. You automate it, it goes straight to the investment account, and you never see it as money you can spend. When you save 20% and you compound it, its numbers are incredible. But then the problem is, if you do that first step, but you don't do the second step, which is become an insider.
Yes.
And understand the rules of the game. I'll give you 2 or 3 of the myths real fast. One, this myth that someone says, give me your money and I'm gonna beat the market. Over any 10-year period of time, 96% of mutual funds will not even match the market. They've all said it. Warren Buffett flat out said today, he said, listen, in my will, 90% of my money, all that money does not go with any mutual fund, it goes straight into the index. What the index is you get a piece of all the largest companies in the world, but it costs almost nothing to get in. You hire someone because you say, I have a family, I have a business, I have a life, I'm not an investor. I'm gonna hire someone who's a professional. It makes sense, they would do better than me. Unfortunately, that's wrong. 4% of them will beat the market. 4% chance to find the right mutual fund. It's not gonna happen. So the second thing is, after getting terrible performance, people say, well, fees don't really matter, or they'll tell you it's only 1%. Forbes says the average fee is 3.12. Now, 1% versus 3%, big difference.
Huge.
Right? Here's the difference. Just like you grow by compounding, like your fees also compound. If you had 3 people and one gets 1% in fees, 2%, the other in 3%, they all get the same return. They start out with $100,000 at 35. For 30 years, they accumulate to 65 years old, 7% compounded, they all get 7%. And when they go to retire, the person at 1% in fees is gonna have $574,000. The person at 3% in fees will have $224,000. 77% less money. If I said to you, here's a deal, let's do an investment. You put up all the money, you put up all the risk. I'll put up no money, I'll put up no risk. If you lose, I win, and if you win, I win. And if you win, over the life of the time, I'll get 60% of what you earn. That's a mutual fund with 3%. You could own the stock market, the S&P 500. You can own a piece of all 500 big companies through like the Vanguard 500. And you get the best of all the business, Apple, Exxon, all these companies. And it costs you 0.17. If you went to a normal mutual fund, you might own the same companies for 3.17. That's like buying a Honda Accord for $20,000 or $350,000 for the same car. That happens every day with finances because people don't know how to look at this. So when they read the book, that'll never happen to them again.